This is the Automotive Repair Podcast Network.
Hey everybody, Carm Capriato, Remarkable Results Radio here at the ASTA 2025. I've said that how many times here in the last 3 days? 2025 conference.
It's the last one.
And I have a guest. Stand by, seatbelt on, just wait. It's Jim Knight. And here's a word from our sponsors. Hey, when customers choose a NAPA Auto Care Center, they get more than a repair. They get trust, savings, and peace of mind. Want your shop to stand out? Connect with your local NAPA representative and get the conversation started to become a NAPA Auto Care Center. Hey, for over 30 years, NAPA Trax has made selecting the right shop management system easy by offering the best, most comprehensive SMS in the industry. We'll prove to you that Trax is the single best shop management system in the business. Find NAPA Trax on the web at napatracs.com. Hey, welcome back, everyone. I got Jim Knight and I go back a bit. Not that we were bosom buddies and we went out and we partied, or I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and met you. But Jim Knight is our keynote speaker tonight. And the beauty of you came in a little early, we were able to do this. Totally honored. Met you back, I'm going to guess about 11 years, and you came in and you did the Culture That Rocks to this company organization that we were in. And when I got a chance to email Jim back and forth, he says, "Oh, I remember you and I remember Gary," and I was tickled pink. And so I brought the book that he signed for me here, everybody. You can see that. Proof. Wait 1 minute. Look at that. See that? So we have some sort of connection, although he did say Carm, so maybe he did know who the hell I was back then. But anyway, but Jim, thank you for being here. I'm excited to have you. I know that you wrote two books after this.
Yeah.
Wow. And one of them is Leadership.
One of them's Leadership That Rocks. And then I have the one after that is Service That Rocks. And in January, I will launch the third one in that trilogy, which is Engagement That Rocks.
Oh my God.
Which is all about employee engagement. But honestly, those three books are because I deconstructed the book that you're holding right there. That book was my first one. I probably thought I only had that one book in me, but the reality is it's pretty dense. There's a lot of stuff in there. There probably is 3 or 4 books actually in it that you could have expanded on. And that's what I've done. So I've actually taken the main 3 elements, leadership, service, and engagement, and said, can I not run with that and have smaller, thinner, black and white versions that somebody could afford?
You poured your soul into that book.
I did. Well, I thought it was my only one. And, I worked for one of the greatest cultures in the history of culture. So I thought if I could just put all that into one sort of Bible, if you will, and let people run with that, that would probably be enough for me. But, as with anything else, I always want more. I'm always trying to, push my influence and wherever I can have some impacts. And I thought, well, now people can hire me for a specific topic and run with that. But yep, that's my first and foremost. That's where I made my first pretty penny there, is with that book. And it set the stage for a lot of other things that I'm doing now. So
let's define the word pretty penny.
Yeah.
I love that. I think a lot of us are still out there looking for the pretty penny. So you're going to talk tonight on leadership.
Yes, sir.
Leadership That Rocks.
Yep, that's the one.
And oh, by the way, there's Ryan Reagan. Hi, Ryan. How you doing, bud? All right. So yeah, we all pull this thing off together. Jim is going. I wish you could be here, but you're not. But you're going to get a little taste of what Jim is in this episode that we're doing. Becoming customer obsessed, Jim. And I don't know if you're going to talk about that at all tonight.
Yeah, a little.
We are. In this industry of ours, we've got the top tier professionals. I mean, like in every industry, and they're eating from the Kool-Aid jar.
Yeah.
And then we've got some people in the middle that we hope in the podcasts that we do to lift them and get them engaged to find themselves a new world and a new life and a coach and an accountability partner and go from having turned the wrench without any knowledge of business, leadership, and culture, and to get them to go to that next level.
Yeah.
Nothing better than listening to a person like you come in and talk about that.
Thank you. Well, you'd like to hope that they're actually showing up with all of those things, but the reality is everything boils down to human behavior. And in fact, learned behavior. You learn everything. You learn everything from school, your parents, your friends, the playground, religion, lack of religion. So by the time somebody comes to me wanting a job, they are the way they are. And if you start with competence and say, listen, you want to be, a technician, you want to be a service advisor, I get that. And maybe one might be obviously a little bit easier than the other. But you got to learn those things, and somebody's got to give them a shot at some point, whether it's through apprenticeship or you're just giving somebody an opportunity for a summer job to start in one area and move to another. They'll ultimately grow. That's what you ultimately hope to have happen.
Good stuff, Jim. Thank you. Look, I know you're doing a lot of stuff for charity, and I just, having known you and seeing the passion that you have, you're doing stuff for No Kid Hungry, Cannonball Cancer Kids, Tunnel for Towers, and Heart for the Arts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I can only do so much, but I just made a decision right at the beginning of my career that I would take 10% of everything that I make would go to some sort of philanthropic charity.
Yeah.
I started with 1, but now I'm up to 4. And I don't know how sustainable it is. I'll take the 10% and I split it up amongst all of those. I'm a faith-based guy, and I always felt like for those people that understand the idea of giving back and focusing on something that might be near and dear to them or something that influenced them, that it's going to come back to you tenfold. I've just always believed that. And so even in maybe the years that I really struggled financially, and I'm like, man, right now I'm the charity, like I really need to be holding on to it, I still gave. And sure enough, within 6 months, I would be back on my feet and just in a much better place, whatever it is, financially, spiritually, physically. And I've maintained that. And so I really spend a lot of time, if I can, talking to other people and other businesses going, what would it hurt to take a certain percentage? Maybe 10% is too much, but just take 2% right off the top, not off the bottom, not what's left, off the top, and donate it somewhere. And I bet you'd see some massive repercussions positively in your business. I think your consumer, your guests, your customers would actually notice that. Not that you have to, scream at the top of your lungs and pound on your chest about how awesome you are. I think people will figure it out, but certainly your employees would see it. And those crew members, those team members would go, wow, if I've got a choice between this company and this company that are like businesses and one actually cares about people and the planet or whatever it is, I'm probably going to want to spend time giving money and working for that particular company. So that's always been my philosophy.
I think there's an encouragement there for us in the industry. I don't think we're doing enough in the community.
Probably not.
I don't think we are. And I'm not saying it would be for selfish reasons to grow your business. I think it comes from the heart.
Yeah, I think it's a great byproduct. I think it will absolutely help your business. I think it's just the right thing to do. And there's a ton of organizations that need help. There's tons that are worthy. You probably have to do some soul searching. But, I even talk about this in the automotive industry. I go, what would the most likely organization be? There's probably a lot of them. In my mind, the one that comes to my mind more than anything else is like a Cars for Kids. You hear the commercial all the time. I'm like, why wouldn't I, if I'm in the car business, be figuring out a way to donate that to charity? But pick whatever works for you. It doesn't matter to me, but I think everybody could be doing something, and they could probably be doing something a little bit more.
You're right. There's a lot of shops that do something like that locally. There's a lot of them that will repair a car for a qualified, I don't want to say the word needy, but a person that's challenged financially, and they'll give cars away.
I love that.
But they have to have a job, and because if you don't have a job, you don't need a car. So there's a lot of that going on, and there's not enough of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things. On your shirt, it says Born to Rock. Let's go back to, you wanting to leave the company and then do this on your own.
Yeah.
That's a gutsy move.
It is. But this is how all speakers wind up coming to exist. Nobody starts going, I'm going to be a professional speaker. Nobody goes to school for that. They wind up maybe using their degree, but they sort of happenstance. They fall into it. I was head of training and development for one of the greatest cultures, Hard Rock International. So I was opening up cafes, hotels, casinos all over the planet. Opened up about 80 different properties. So I got a lot of my soul searching around the planet all out of the way. But even before that, I was a middle school teacher for 6 years. Before that, I'm in a bunch of community theater. I do have a music degree. So I always wanted to perform. So I'm still pulling the levers of music, education, and hospitality. I still use all three of those, and all of those were required to basically do what I do and the style that I do, this edutainment that I like to talk about.
Edutainment.
So,
That's
I'm
cool.
always trying to figure out how can I get it meaty enough that it's sticky and they go, that was awesome. That was a great use of my time. But also, we had some fun. We had some yucks along the way. So to your question, I had just gotten to the point after 2 decades, a little bit more than that. All of my people underneath me were promotable. They were ready to go. I was probably in the way in a lot of ways. I was just loving life. I was getting some of the biggest bonus checks I'd ever seen, but it wasn't enough, Carm. I wanted more impact and influence. I wanted to write that first book. And honestly, I think my fear was if I do that, it's going to be a work for hire and they might have some ownership in it.
Yeah.
And the second is I was already speaking on the side. I was charging people, but I was giving the money to Hard Rock. So they led me because I was a revenue generating initiative, basically, but it fed the beast in me. And what I found is I wanted to go vertical. I didn't want to just do stuff in food and beverage. And so now most of my gigs are banking, insurance, funeral directors, automotive, the International Packaged Ice Association.
We all need to hear this word. You trust you and continue to come back. With the NAPA Auto Care program, you can deliver that positive experience every step of the way. It starts with visibility. Customers can find your shop through the NAPA online locator at no cost to you. And thanks to fully integrated national marketing campaigns, NAPA Auto Care shops are showcased as part of America's largest network of parts and care. Whether they're driving by to see your co-branded NAPA Auto Care sign or they hear about you through national advertising, the NAPA name, trusted by over 95% of the motoring public, builds instant confidence. Inside your shop, that trust grows. Using digital vehicle inspection and NAPA Service Assistant, you can clearly show customers what's wrong with their vehicle through pictures and videos. SmartSign creates an engaging waiting experience, while exclusive consumer offers help save them on services. And when your shop becomes gold certified, customers know they'll receive a consistent top-level experience every time. Customers also gain peace of mind knowing your technicians are ASE certified, trained by NAPA AutoTech, and backed by the NAPA Auto Care Nationwide Peace of Mind warranty. For an unexpected repair expense, the NAPA credit card helps them get back on the road. And when the repair is complete, their satisfaction is captured through the NAPA CSI survey, turning great service into long-term loyalty. Hey, you want to create this customer journey? Only one way. Connect with your local NAPA representative and get started. Hey, when customers choose a NAPA Auto Care Center, they get more than a repair. They get trust, savings, and peace of mind. Want your shop to stand out? Connect with your local NAPA representative and get the conversation started to become a NAPA Auto Care Center. Hey, let's face it. Your shop management system is the single most important tool in your shop, period. NAPA Trax has made selecting the right shop management system easy by offering the industry's best, most comprehensive SMS. Now, it all starts when a local representative meets with you to learn about your business and how you need to run it. After all, it's your shop, so it's your choice, and having local representation is a huge plus. Customizing Trax to your business, whether you're a one-person shop or a large multi-bay or multi-location company, a representative consults with you to help optimize your shop's workflow, efficiency, and profitability. Trax always has the flexibility to do business how you need to do it, which means it can also grow as your business grows. And unlike the other guys, will be there for you after installation with the best training and support in the business. Yes, a learning management system tailored to each role in your company. Simply put, Trax was designed and built for shop owners just like you. Visit us on the web at NAPA Trax, that's NAPATRACS.com. Jim, ever since I saw you speak on stage and I got your book and I devoured this book on Culture That Rocks, devoured it. It was just one of those not you can put it down books. I've always wanted to ask you a very important question that was
about my hair care products.
Yes, it
perfect.
is.
Let's go there. Let's go there.
and so, I love it. When you were at Hard Rock, was that your hair?
Half the time. Before, it did not go up. It went down. I had a mullet. I could sit on my hair 2.5 feet, 2 different times. You know, you grow it out, you get it cut, you send it to Locks of Love, and then I just grew it out again. You know, I didn't start
to build your brand. Then you decided to go up?
Well, I kept the mullet probably longer than it needed to be. It was very cool. We all have mullets, girls and guys in the 90s. And then I kept mine a little bit longer. Everybody else had already cut theirs. I needed a fresh approach for sure. But you know, it was always rock and roll. It was something that would be a little bit different,
Yeah.
a little bit more unique. And I just had not seen anybody with huge spiky hair. And I said, I'm going to go there. This is before, by the way, the Guy Fieri's of the world and Rascal Flatts. I had my spiky hair first, but I just decided I wanted to do something a little bit irreverent, a little bit unpredictable. But the goal is to get eyeballs on the brand, on me. I love using the music orientation. I do a lot of band and brand analogies. All this rock and roll analogy stuff is only to get them to the sweet stuff. I'm trying to get them to Nirvana. I'm trying to get them to the meaty stuff to go, I can make my world better. The other stuff is just really fun window dressing for me, honestly.
It's a motivator. I mean, we all know music. We all get that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, hey, you're having a down day, play your favorite song.
You got it. You got it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You're having a down day, think of Jim Knight and his influence on rock and why leadership and culture and all that's important.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was motivated. Why? I took away an idea. I learned one thing, but I never implemented it.
Yeah.
Isn't that such a big thing today?
It happens.
People walk away from your conferences that you do and you would just hope you changed one life.
Well, not only one life, I want to change all the lives. I just want to change one thing about it. I'm trying to be a catalyst for them, just a small little bit of a thought leader on something. So I have been accused of giving too much information. Like I am going to be moving at blazing speed tonight at the keynote.
Yeah.
You know, I have 10 pounds of content in a 5-pound bag. I'm one of these speakers who always wants more time. There are some who are just happy doing less. I'll probably try and give 8, 9, 10 takeaways, but I know that everyone's going to be looking at that list going, I already do number 2. I'm awesome at number 5. I rock at number 7, whatever it is. There's got to be, if they're open-minded enough, there's got to be at least one thing on there that they're thinking, I don't do that at all, or I could absolutely get better. You put any metric in front of me, I am on the hunt, man. I am trying to crush whatever that number is, dollar amount, whatever. You pick anything, top line sales, bottom line EBITDA, could be customer satisfaction, team member satisfaction. I always want to be great at all of that. So I don't think I'm the only one in the room like that. I think there are people that are hungry to make their business better. If we just get one thing in their head and they can push back from that table and go, awesome use of my time, we all win.
Are you a full-time speaker or are you also consulting and coaching?
Yeah, I don't do any consulting or coaching anymore. I used to. I started out of the gate doing that when I first left Hard Rock, really to supplement the income. I wasn't sure. It's one thing to have a full-time job and be speaking as, you know, as a hobby on the side. Once you do this full-time, I wasn't 100% sure. And so my first 2 years, I did both. But I will just tell you, I just discovered I'm not that great as a consultant. I'm awesome at one thing. I can hold an audience. Okay. I'm mediocre at a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. People come up to you at the end. You just stick around, shake some hands, get some questions.
Yeah.
Do people come up to you and say, God, I can't get this leadership thing. I just can't get my hands around. I can't touch it.
Sure.
What's your advice?
So for me, if they want to stay in my orbit, I mean, they certainly have a book that they could go and grab. I will spend a little bit of time with them on the phone. They can sign up on my website, have a conversation. It's for free. I'm willing to help anybody out that I can, as long as I'm not spending hours and hours on it. At the end of the day, if there's something that they need from a personal, let's say, executive coach, or they're struggling from a team standpoint, I have so many friends that are just part of the spokes that I will just go out there and go, I got a guy, I got a girl. Somebody can help you out. Somebody comes to me and wants to talk about AI. That's not me. I got a guy.
You're a catalyst.
I'm a catalyst. And I don't mind doing that. And it's not a referral. I don't make money off of it. It's just I got buddies out there who do this and do it extremely well. I know what I do well. I mean, I'm a writer and a speaker, and I'm super happy with that. Now I have other investments. I have other businesses as well, but this is my full-time job. I make my money off of speaking in front of people.
Damn.
Yeah.
So give me, I love what you said tonight, Jim. What's one thing that I could become a better leader?
By far, it is all about hiring the right person. I can say this all day long. They're going to focus on the product. They're going to focus on discounting and couponing and painting the place.
Are you talking visionary to an integrator thing?
It doesn't matter who it is. I'm saying unless you're a standalone entrepreneur working in a kiosk, I would guess you're all by yourself. You have other people, you have humans that are working for you. That is by far the most important thing that you could do. And we don't spend enough time wearing that human resources hat, that recruiting hat to go, I'm going to go find a rock star. I've got to find the absolute best top talent that I can. They're focused on the minutia, on the middle of the road type things that are all important, but they feel like that's how they're focusing on beating their competitors, when really it's about the human that's really going to make a difference. And it's also not enough to just have the experience or just have the competence of doing the job. There's a lot of great technicians out there. It's not enough to just have the person who can do the job. I know probably from an employee standpoint or from an employer, might not care that much whether that person is rude or gruff all day long, and maybe we can take off with each other, but the customer can see it. And the customer at some point is going to be talking to that person. The more that I can find that mix of somebody who can do the job with the right character, they've got the right culture fit, those 3 C's, competence, character, culture fit, I'm going to win every single time. And probably the way that I treat them, if I can get them to stay with me a little bit longer, they're probably going to be taking over my job. That's the name of the game. That's how we all get promoted. I want a circle around me that I can absolutely invest my time, energy, effort, money, and rigor on. I want to create an army of giants, but you got to go out there and find those rock stars, and they're in the field right now.
Jim, people want to be led.
Yeah.
But the leader doesn't necessarily know that.
Yeah. Another problem. So all the stuff that I just said, let's say the leader doesn't get that right. I'm hoping this is why they come to events like this. If they can come to an expo, if they can go to a show and not just milling around on the expo hall, like I get it, it's so important. What they need to be doing is taking stock of any of the breakouts, any of the keynote speakers, look for the 1 or 2 things that they can do better. I'm hoping somebody's actually said something to them and said, listen, this is how you made me feel. You're awesome. Thank you for the money and the benefits. And yeah, the pool table's cool and the company dog and whatever, right? But the way you make me feel sucks. I mean, I absolutely feel like you don't care about me as a human. You don't listen to me. I don't feel seen. I bring up stuff. You're afraid that I'm challenging the status quo. If all of these things that they hear and they never do anything about it, well, then they're going to expect to get the exact same results and probably turning over a lot of these team members. But if they can come to an event like this and just open their mind to say, I want to work on my personal leadership a little bit more, there's always something out there that somebody can grab. I'm trying to do the same thing. Like, I know I step into these industries that I have no business being in, right? I don't know anything about a lot of industries, but here's the thing. I'm trying to figure out, what is it that you have that I don't have? I just want to put that arrow in my quiver so I can be just smart enough to hang in the conversation. I want credibility. But again, all of that is to get to the meatiness that they're never, ever going to forget. And if it's about hiring the right people, communicating with the right people, loving on people a little bit more, then again, I've done my job. I'm just enough of a catalyst to say, just think differently, and I think you're going to be in a better place.
How do we get to a Jim Knight book? What do we do?
Oh, man, I would say the best way is go to knightspeaker.com. So all roads lead to my website. That's my last name, knightspeaker.com. Anything and everything that you want is there. You'll see all of my books and workbooks. I put out content every day. I'm all over social media, so all of that stuff is there. Video, tons of video. I do something every day.
Well, tonight, I can't wait to be in that dinner, in that room, in the ballroom. I'm going to have to put something together so that I don't miss a word. Some kind of bumper around me.
Yeah.
Because you're just an amazing speaker.
Oh, man, thank you.
I just loved what you did all those years ago. I consumed your book. Trust me, because of how much I loved Culture That Rocks, I think you're going to love whichever book you buy of Jim. In fact, I just have to recommend this one. Because this
thank
one,
you.
And, thank you, Tracy. I'm holding it up in the air.
It's your first show. You're new.
I've never done this before. I know. Thank you. Jim, thanks for being here. I know you got a hell of a schedule. We're in the mode of everybody shutting down.
Yes,
so
I saw that.
There's a time thing going on. I'm honored to have had you on my podcast, having known you probably a year before I started. Who would have thought that I'd have Jim Knight on my show?
I thought about it. You know what? Honestly, we had such a great relationship back then. Just passing, and I know, and our good friend Gary, who has passed on. But that time back then was just me getting my sea legs, and now,
oh my God,
who'd have thought that this is what I'm doing for a living, and probably the rest of my life.
The hard rock stories that you told, I think back then, it so inspired me that you were able to take the hard rock ambiance culture,
yeah,
pop your hair 1 mile to the sky and go out with this, if you will, rock and roll style delivery.
Yeah.
Listen to Metallica, listen to Jim Knight, same thing.
Yeah. If you like Metallica, but like you said earlier, music, it doesn't matter what genre. I think everybody identifies with music. And so, of course, the palette with which I get to paint is rock and roll is probably my background because of where I worked. But, you know, back then I actually spent a lot more time talking about hard rock, obviously, because this is what happens with musicians. When you first start off, you're playing nothing but covers. And then eventually you start writing your own, you throw in one of your own songs, the audience will allow you to do that. And at some point you don't want to play anybody else's stuff. You only want to write originals. So my trajectory has sort of been the same. I have a mad love affair with hard rock. My affair with them will go on probably forever because I spent 2 decades of my life. But at some point I thought I need to be talking about other things than just the story. That story is one of the greatest stories ever. And somebody should write a book on it, which is crazy that there really isn't one. But I said, I probably need to be talking about stuff that can help people out, not just hearing the good old times of rock and roll in the 70s and 80s.
And that's what grabbed me back then, because you're a hell of a storyteller, but just to hear, you know, behind the snes of an institution like hard rock. Yeah. Jim Knight, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure, man. Good to see you again. You look exactly the same.
I can't believe that.
That's the truth. Rock on, my friend. Rock on.